you're so hot.
Right as it records. I think everybody knows that we have heart-ons for each other. Heart-ons.
Heart. Well, you can say it both ways, right?
Yeah. If you know, you know. Ick yick, right?
Yik yik.
I think it's funny.
Hello, welcome back, guys, to our podcast.
Yeah, we do this sometimes where we sit and we talk.
Often do. Often. Every once in a blue moon.
Literally, we wait until there's a blue moon, which is like once, I don't know, 20 years or something.
Oh, is it that few? I thought it was
No.
like a couple years.
I don't really actually know. I should know. As a witch, I should know this, but I
Yeah,
don't.
I was like, this is in your lane. How do you not know this?
I think I knew at one point, but then like, you know how like your brain only stores so much information?
Yeah.
So like you gotta get rid of some stuff, and sometimes moon phases and shit just like whoop, bye.
And sometimes you know, but then at the moment it's just lost on you.
Right, exactly. And then like your brain will like it'll know stupid shit.
Yes.
Stuff that just doesn't make any sense or has no
Like a
rhyme or
random quote or something.
a random quote, or like even something that just like has nothing to do with anything. Kaylin was once like, hey mom, do you know that bees blah 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 blah, and like she would just spit some facts about bees that I've never heard before.
Well, that's lovely though.
I know, I love it, and I love her for it, but like how does she know that, and how does she retain that? She can't remember like how to spell moon, but she can figure out why a bee does X, Y, and Z. I don't know. Anyways.
Hey, well, yik yik.
Yeah, I just
You spit out your drink.
yeah, I did. I spit. It's all in my face now. Whoa! I'm cheating on coffee today. I have a Red Bull.
You know, I tried one of those ones and they just tasted like the sugar-free version of the cheap ones I always have.
Yeah, it is sugar free. I just haven't
Yeah,
been
I
able to
know,
find.
but you also have the regular, and the regulars taste like the sugar-free version of the cheap ones for me.
Yeah. I really like the sugar free Red Bulls, but I love Monster more. I just couldn't find them, so I'm cheating.
Oh, my supermarket discontinued them, which sucks so much.
How do you get that? Do you have to do it like order
I don't know.
online?
I don't know where I can get them now.
Can't you order online? No. Yes?
Probably. I haven't tried it yet.
Do I have to like send you Monsters so you have
I
your?
don't think it has to be that drastic.
I don't remember exactly where we're going with all of this, but hello, hi.
Woo!
I was a guest on another podcast recently.
Oh, whoop whoop.
Yeah, I was on Creepy Core and Folklore with Iona Whalen. She is a we've talked about her before on this podcast actually.
Yeah, did she write
Ashes,
that book
yes.
Ashes? Yeah.
Yeah, so she has a podcast where she talks about all things creepy and folklorish. So she had me on and I was talking about like ghosts and like witchcraft and shit.
Ooh.
So that was fun, but I just kept interrupting her. Like there wasn't a moment in which I did not try to interrupt her.
Which well, I always feel like that when we are recording. I always feel like I'm interrupting you.
It's a lot better when we can see each other on camera. And we've gotten a lot better at
it. we can point at each other like my turn.
You know what it is? It's like we both have that moment where we're like, oh, we got to get this out. We have to say this or we're going to forget it.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Jinx, you owe me a monster. But yeah, so today, Liz and I were thinking about talking about our own personal projects, writing wise. When we first started this when we first started this podcast, it was only supposed to be about books and writing, and that is definitely still one of our passions. Like we both love to read and to write.
Yes, definitely utterly.
I don't read as much as Liz does. I think we've established that. But I try.
You write more than I do, though.
I don't know. Lately, it seems like you're on it. Like I haven't been able to write at all.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
The last time I wrote was when I sent you that screenshot of that scene that I was fixing up.
Yeah, with Amy.
Yeah. So For those that don't know what our books are about, pause this episode and go listen to, I forget which episodes they are,
Yeah,
but
there's
there's,
one about your book and one about mine, and I think they're both just called River's book and Liz's book. So
yeah,
it should be easy to find. It's in season 1.
go over there and go watch, listen to it. I think you can watch one of them. I forget.
Yeah, yours,
I'm really awkward, and the main character is no longer
a
who they
main
are.
character.
Yeah. So, anyways,
I feel like a lot has changed
yeah,
since both of the episodes.
yeah,
Your book has changed a lot, and I feel like mine has too, because if you remember, Lucille was kind of a bad guy, but she isn't anymore, which was actually my first thought, and so
yeah.
I reverted back to that. Felt better that way.
Yeah, so why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about like some of the major changes that you've made. So for example, Liz isn't or Liz.
Lucille,
Lucille is no longer evil.
yeah,
Now you have it that she's like trying to get away from her life in the
yeah.
painting.
Think Cinderella. Basically, that's what her situation is.
I love it.
Ben and Oliver are going to go through a rough patch, and I'm just trying to figure out if it's gonna be related to them being queer in the 80s.
Hmm.
Luke, no, Luke hasn't changed at all. He's still silly and high a lot, and he's on skates a lot too. So I just wrote a scene where Ben is sort of sadly walking through the streets, and Luke is sort of hanging on to him, just rolling along on his
Aw.
skates.
Aw.
And but he smoked a lot of weed with one of the roommates of Joan's,
Yeah,
because he was looking for Joan since she was making his homework,
right.
but she wasn't there, and so he just got high with one of her roommates.
Oh, I love that. So, for those that decided not to listen to our book descriptions, that's totally fine. So, Liz is writing a like contemporary 80s
Yeah.
mystery. I don't know, what would you call I
Mm,
feel like it's a cozy. That's what I said last time. I feel like
yeah.
your book has like this, especially now that Lucille's no longer like a villain, which is a huge change, right? Like it's a huge drastic change. So now it just feels more cozy and warm and like all the characters are so fun. You have two established relationships. So some of the main
Yes.
characters are Susie and Joan, and they are a lesbian couple, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you have, I want to say
Oliver and Ben.
Oliver and Ben. That's exactly what I was because I was like, Luke is your punk,
Y-
like he's your 80s punk guy, right?
yes, he's got a pink mohawk,
Which is
and
fucking fabulous.
yes, but he doesn't have a point of view, but he is sort of creeping up in the story a lot.
Yeah,
So
but
there's
does
3
Lucille
point of views.
does
Lucille also doesn't have a point of view.
That's perfect because if you
Yeah.
ever decided to, I know this is supposed to be like a standalone book, but if you ever decided to do another book, it would be really cool from Lucille and Luke's perspective.
Yeah. Hmm.
Just saying, just a thought.
Yes. Oh, cheers for that thought. Gonna keep that in me mind. Yeah, I'm really happy with how it's going actually, and I feel like my prose are getting so much better now.
Yeah. When you first start writing, especially if you don't really have like a lot of experience, like for me, I didn't have a lot of experience writing books or stories really even. I
Yeah.
did a lot of like poems back in the day, but like a lot of your writing is just going to be bland because you're just trying to get the story out, right? Like you're just trying to
Hmm.
get the words on the page, you're trying to get the idea out. And then the more that you read and the more that you write, obviously like your prose are going to improve because you're practicing. So,
Yeah,
yes.
and suddenly he's not walking down the street anymore. He's strutting along over the cobblestone tiles or something.
Oh
I don't know.
shit. Woo! Look at you and your prose.
Your story has changed a lot too, because your main character has green hair now.
Yeah, so for those that don't know, there was a lot of controversy that happened with my first main character. I was really sad to let her go. But due to things, I just decided that it was better to go this new route, because it's better to just acknowledge faults and do better. And I don't want to ever, hurt anybody's feelings. So originally Nia was the main character. Nia was a black woman, and there was a lot of controversy around that because I'm a white writer, and I don't know how to describe it other than it just offended some people. And so to better the situation and to improve myself, I decided to change the main character based on that commentary. And so now we have Sam, who is awesome and does have green hair. And essentially, it's the same storyline. She's just changed in that
Same
way.
story, different versions. All are
Ye-
true.
yeah, exactly. And yeah, so Sam is honestly, like, I feel really connected to her. I feel like she is developing and transforming into something that I never thought. I mean, I don't think it would have worked the same way if it had gone the original way. Like, it's
Mhm.
developing in such a natural way, and I feel like I'm just babbling at this point. But
It's like you set two steps back to sort of
yeah.
soar
Yeah,
into the
exactly.
sky and
Me
become
and
better.
ori and originally, like, the book would have been done already, right? Like, it would have been finalized by now, edited, everything. But because of that pushback and because of the change, I have had to go through and not only change the character, because, like, for me, it wasn't just like a name change. It was everything. I had to change
Yeah.
her personality. I had to change the way that she interacted with the characters, because they have different personalities. So to me, it wasn't just a name or color of their skin. It was a lot. Like, Nia was a black girl and Sam is a white bitch. So it's very different.
Well, it's you're replacing one person with another person.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it's and you have to get into their heads again, get to know them again
Yeah, and it took me
because
a
yeah, it's
while.
just different.
Yeah, exactly. It took me a while to, like, find out who Sam was going to be. I came across this, like, awesome picture of this, like, I don't know, like, elf boy or something, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that's Sam. That's Sam." And I have talked about what will happen with them in next stories and whatnot. Let's just say they're going to go through a major transformation, and I can't
Pun
really talk
intended.
pun intended. I can't talk too much about it because I don't want it to be like so in your face, but at the same time, I think based on everything that's going on right now, I think it's a positive spin on things.
Mhm.
But yeah, so it's really good. I love the dynamic between Sam and Asher. Like, I think that they have, like, such good banter. And so yeah, this current scene that I'm writing is with Amy, who is the witchy waitress that they meet in the very beginning of the book. And she's the one that helps the characters get into hell, essentially. And it's like just the interaction between her and Nathan. And, like, there's this part that you mentioned, which was really cute, where she's, like, upset that they came to her house, and so
Yeah.
she's, like, trying to get them in her house, like, super quick,
Uh-huh.
and she slams the door because she can't see Asher. She doesn't, because Asher is a ghost, right? And so she slams the door, and Asher kind of comes in like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, he floats through the door and holds up his hands or something like
Yeah,
what? Okay.
like, puts his hands up, like, like,
Resign.
thanks, I guess.
Yeah. Oh man, I love that so much. I feel like there's so much opportunities with a ghost
Oh
for
yeah.
comic relief.
Yeah, exactly. There's another scene that I'm reworking because I wanted to add some spice into my book, because in the next book there is going to be some adult content and I don't want it to come out of nowhere. Like, I don't want the first one to be, like, very PG, and then the next book to be like, here's sex.
Surprise,
You know?
bitch.
Yeah, so there is a scene in my book where Sam and Vera are at a ball in hell.
Oh yeah, I remember that scene.
It's Hades' ball.
Hades is a party
Eh,
animal in it.
he is, yeah, in it. Bruv. So there's a scene, and originally I had it that Nia got drunk, and then Vera kind of helps Nia. But with Sam, I feel like Sam has more of an assertive mask energy.
Mm-hmm.
So Sam watches Vera get drunk, and
Ah.
Vera comes on to them and is like trying to, and Sam goes, "No, like, you're drunk, like let's get you into bed." So I do want to like I really think it's important to put things like that in, especially if there's alcohol involved, because I've read a lot of books where like the characters get drunk and then they kiss, or the characters get drunk and then they, do things.
Yeah.
I want it to be that like Sam is able to, like, she obviously is very into Vera. Like she's like, "Let's go." But at the same
But she
time,
wants it consensually.
exactly. So there's going to be a little scene that I'm like working that out right now, and I'm really excited about it. Just because I feel like I'm Vera in that moment, because when I get drunk, I get horny. I'm like, let's go. Just like moments like that where originally, it was going to be one way and now it's going another. And
One
I,
way or another.
another, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna
I'm gonna
find
get
you.
you, get you, get you, get you one
One
way.
way, or maybe next
Maybe
week.
next week. I'm gonna see ya. I'm gonna see ya. I'll see
I'll
ya.
see ya. I love how we always end up singing at some
We
point or
always have
another.
music references.
Yeah, exactly. Our
Oh,
brains,
but I
man.
love that all these changes have made your book so much stronger.
Yeah, I think so. At least I hope so,
Hmm.
Um,
I feel that way with my book too. The longer I write the things, or the more I write, the more everything just takes shape.
yeah.
And I've had to delete some chapters,
Yeah.
which I was very proud of them, but it just doesn't fit with my story anymore. And so, but I know that it's going to be better if I lose them and write new shit.
Yeah, exactly. That's like the whole chapter I was just telling you about. Like it's basically going to be deleted and rewritten.
Yeah.
Um and it sucks because sometimes like there's like a sentence or a word that you use that you feel super like attached to,
Yes, and
and
then
you're
you want
like
to write around it in the hopes that you can still use it.
I've definitely been there, and like I'm not even gonna lie, like I've definitely been like I'm gonna use that word. I like this sentence.
Yeah, of
Um
course, because you already worked really hard to find that word or
yeah.
those sentences and stuff, and you can totally recycle them.
Yeah, exactly. Like something that I've started doing too, I have like a little list for various things. Like I have a list of like things that like help me visualize things for Asher. For example, like certain colors will be used. So I have like a list of words that I use for like Asher, and then I have a list of words that I use for Nathan, or I have a list of words that talk about this particular subject, or like just things that I can like pick through.
Oh, you're kind of your personal thesaurus.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. Another thing I need to go back and do is, like, I need to, like, list all the places and the people and, like, how they're connect I had one initially, but, like, as you go, things get.
Things get chaotic.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and, like, another thing about, like, rewriting and, like, going back and, like, making your book stronger, I ended up killing a character off, like, pretty early on. I don't know if I mentioned this to you, or if you.
I don't think you did. No.
Okay, so I don't want to give it away, but I'll send it to you later. I
Or
end
you
up
can
killing.
also just say it now and we can cut it out.
A few moments later.
But yeah, there's just those moments that like if I had just continued on with how it was going, that would have never come about. Like that moment would never have been written to make the story more interesting, A, stronger, B, and that character seems a lot scarier than in the beginning. Like
Yeah.
there's something about them now that the reader is going to go, "Oh, what did they do?" Like what was that?
Yeah.
And they're going to anticipate, or they're going to hope to see more of it. I hope.
Bro, what in the hell did you just do? What the fuck, dude? How are you supposed to be good?
I was telling Iona like how in my book I really want to like tread the lines of like what's good and what's evil, what's black and what's white,
Hmm.
because it's so easy for people to go like, oh, angels are just supposed to be like these really like beautiful creatures or whatever, but like the actual biblical form of them is like really fucking creepy. Like, you know. And
You mean the
also,
wings and the eyes?
yeah, and also like every book that I read when it comes to like fantasy, there's always like the evil guy, like the really bad
Yeah.
guy. And it's like, but why? Like, what if that evil guy actually has like good reasons for being the way that they are? And like
Yeah.
sometimes evil can be cool and sometimes good can be evil. Just depends on like how you're using it and what you're using it for, right?
I really love that you're really blurring the lines between good and evil, because yeah, exactly. It's like what is good and what's evil. You
Yeah.
there's basic lines like that's specifically yes, that's definitely good and that's definitely evil. But it's lovely that you swirl it around a little bit and make it all gray.
Yeah, but that's like how people are, right? Like we all make mistakes. We all have good and bad qualities. Like we're not all perfect. We're not all evil and all good. But anyways, so like on the topic of writing though, we started talking about like doing more like short stories and that kind of thing.
See,
Yes.
I literally got an idea of a story today. I sent you the podcast episode about the haunting.
Yeah.
And while I was listening to it, I was like, "Oh shit! This would make for perfect short story. This is amazing." So sort of started writing it.
I love that. So I didn't know that you were into like actual like ghosts and haunting. I thought it was just me. I thought I was the one that was just like
No,
weird.
I love
Okay.
listening to haunted shit. I don't care for indulging myself within hauntings and stuff, but I do love a good haunting story.
I
I
love
love
that.
also like creepy movies that involve paranormal shit. My partner and I, we love sometimes to watch creepy movies. But he really loves zombie movies because he can sort of justify them because there's an experiment gone wrong, like they're scientific, you know?
Yeah.
So he really loves zombies and that kind of stuff, but I fucking hate them.
I don't like
They
I
creep me out so much, and I love paranormal shit so much better. But then he doesn't like that.
No, Anne's just the same way. She does not believe in ghosts at all, like at all. And so she's very like logic based, right?
Yeah,
And I think that like most people are. They're like, you know, and it's good. It's good to be like skeptical. And I think to an extent I am like I'm always looking for like what's an actual explanation for something unless there's like no actual explanation, you know?
I think you would really love listening to the podcast Let's Get Haunted.
Yeah, I have listened to it cuz
Oh, nice.
yeah, like you've sent it to me before. I think I just end up like going back to like the ones that
That you already
I'm
know.
that I know, and I think that I don't know why that is. I think I need to start from the beginning and then
Start
get
from the bottom,
yeah, and
and
then
then
go
you're
up.
here. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. Like that's how I usually get going and get really into like certain podcasts, like going
yeah.
all the way back.
They recently talked about the Flying Dutchman,
Yeah.
and you know that's totally up my alley. You
Yeah.
know. And they
Pirates.
talked about some shit about Pirates of the Caribbean, and I was like, okay, this is wrong. This is wrong. So I sent them a whole info dump on Instagram.
Did they love you for it?
One of the hosts liked my comment, so they must have not minded.
Okay, that's good. There's another podcast I think you would love. It's called the Night Owl Podcast, and I think the reason why you'd love it is because of how much like deep diving goes into the hauntings. So
Mm.
it's not just like they go and they investigate. They gather information and then they cross check. So for example, they have a medium that goes in and she's able to detect. She senses things. And the guy that hosts it, he's very skeptical. So like after she goes in and she does her thing, he goes back and he cross examines it like with people that have either died in the building or have like lived there, stuff that like she wouldn't have known because she doesn't know where she's going until she's there. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
And I don't know, I just love it. I love it so much. I feel like you would really enjoy it.
that totally reminded me of something. But now, oh no, I remember. I wrote something, and I need to cross check with you if it's not stupid. So this is a self note to self that I need to show that to you in
Yeah.
my book. So yeah, getting back to the writing though, this is
The Screaming Pit?
yes, that's a
Oh, I
short
love it.
story that I want to write about the haunting story. It's
Yeah.
basically a pit, or like a, yeah, I guess it's a pit. They say that it's like the gate to hell or something,
Oh, I
and
love
it's
that.
close to a castle in the Czech Republic. And I was like, I can't. I don't know if it's stupid though. If it's um
I love no, it's not stupid already. I'm like, can I read it? It sounds like so up my alley. I'm like, ooh, I love that.
yeah, but then I want to twist it, and so they're like, oh, this very spooky shit is happening, and it's sort of
A comedy?
it's not a poem that they're saying, but it's kind of like a spooky legend thingy.
Yeah.
But then the main character's like, I'm not buying it, this is bullshit. And then I don't know, I haven't thought anything further, but
Is the main character alive or dead?
alive.
Okay.
But I was also thinking of maybe the pit would not be gate to hell, but it would actually be a hidden world or something. And it has
Ooh.
a really dark reputation because they don't want people that are unworthy to be there.
Okay, I love this. And the reason why is because have you watched Puss in Boots?
Oh shit, no, I still need to watch that one.
Okay. Well, in the last one, the Wish one, they end up going to this thing called like the Dark Forest or something. And so in the very
Nice.
beginning, you see the forest is like scary and spooky, and then
Spooky, scary skeletons.
and then they go in and it's like green grass and like blue sky, and flowers everywhere, and it's just like beautiful, right?
Aww.
I love juxtapositions like that. I think those are the best, especially when people are able to put it in a way where like no one would want to go. It's like so scary, but then like someone either falls in or
Yes.
yeah, I hope your character falls in somehow and then she's just
Well, it's a pit on the ground, so it's not that hard to fall into, I suppose.
that's what I
But the
mean.
legend, yeah, but the legends say that it's like when the clock strikes 3, screams can be heard traveling up from the gaping mouth. The stones will rattle if you touch them, and broken promises will suck you in.
Oh. Ooh, I love that.
Ew.
That sounds so creepy.
Yeah, I was really hoping to make it really creepy at first, but then it would be really cool.
Yeah, I love that. I think that that's so fun.
But also, I don't want it to sound like that I'm being a pussy and I'm making it a soft story.
No.
Because I'd love to write something really creepy, but
It's not hard enough. Yeah. I remember thinking the first time I like wrote a monster, I was like, "Oh, this is so scary. It's going to be so good." And then I showed it to Fright and Fright was like, "Yeah, it shouldn't talk." Like,
oh yeah,
that's not
you're
scary at all.
yes, you're sort of mermaid creature esque
Yeah,
creepy
so
monster in your book.
yeah, so she's the Styx. She's in the river of Styx and she's the Styx monster. And she basically is like a mermaid snake thing.
Yeah,
Um
I get
and
really mad at Asher.
I gets real pissed off at Asher.
Yes.
You know, I was thinking about it, like not that Asher is disabled, but he can't do a lot of things that like the other characters can do. So when he's able to do something, he does it.
Hell yeah.
um
I love that for him.
But yeah, no, I love the idea of your story. It's so good. It reminds me, I was because we're talking about hauntings and things. The story that I was working on, where it's in the perspective of a ghost, and like I just like the idea of being a ghost and
Yeah.
like watching all these people like try to like figure you out. You know what I
Do
mean?
dumb
Like,
shit and you're just like, well, now I'm not showing myself because
yeah,
you're being a bitch.
just show yourself. If you're here, can you please turn on the lights?
Yes,
Turn them
knock
off.
on the door 3 times.
And then you're just the ghost, and you're just sitting there like, really? Like these assholes are so stupid. And then like I don't know, I just imagine like it being hilarious, and so that's something I'm trying to work on right now, like a cute story, but also just like kind of like a mild comedy to it, you know?
Yes. I feel
Yeah.
like that's the best though.
Yeah, like the show Ghosts. Like you guys got the UK version. Watch
Oh,
the UK
yes,
version.
I still need to watch that.
It's so funny, dude. Like ghosts are just so fun in general to write about. And also I just love the idea of other worlds or other dimensions, you know?
Yes.
So
Me with
um,
Strafverganza.
yeah, yeah. Oh, it's so funny. I just picked up that book yesterday because I was cleaning. Yeah, I was cleaning my
Oh, you
my
literally
room.
picked it up. I was like, oh, did you start reading it?
No, it's on. No, no, no. It's on my like. I have like a little stack of books that I'm trying to get through, and
Yeah.
it's there. Like I put it on there because
Yay.
I was like,
Oh.
I need to. Like I want to read your favorite book. Like I have to. You know.
Yeah. I love that. I'm so excited for that. I actually was thinking about rereading it sometime.
We should do it together.
Oh, I was gonna say, do you also feel like you are writing one scene, but it takes a couple of days?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
the scene I started talking about with Nathan and Amy.
Yeah.
Literally every time I sit down to write, I only get like 200 words out. 200 words, and then another 200 next day. 200 words. Like there are definitely moments where I'm able to write like a lot, you know,
Uh-huh.
thousand word sessions or whatever, but that's very rare. And especially even if I'm like super excited about the scene, sometimes just trying to come up with the words to describe the scene or like
Oh, so difficult.
it hinders the flow.
Yes.
Even if you tell yourself like I'm going to go in, I'm just going to write words and then I'll fix it later. Sometimes like even just trying to figure out the sentence is hard, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Um that's why it's important, and I think like it's something that I need to start doing more often is like just dedicating time every day to write. And I know that that's like a writer's dream, right? People are like, "Oh, you just write every day and it's fine." And it's like, "No, it's not." Like it's not an easy thing to do. It's actually very very difficult, but I do think that once you get into the flow of doing that, then it becomes more, I don't know, like common for you to, or easy for you to sit down and have the words come,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Yeah, sometimes I will write things and then if I can't come up with a certain word, I'll just put XX in there and then just continue.
You're so smart. I can't do that. I literally for the life of me am not able to I I don't have whatever that part of my brain, it won't let me
Yes,
go. It won't let
I
me
find it
move
hard
on.
too,
Yeah.
but you just sort of have to push through it. And then if you have the paragraph done, then you can go back.
For the longest time, I couldn't finish the council scene in my book
Hmm.
because I didn't know who the characters were.
Yeah.
And
Oh, man.
that was really frustrating me because I was like, these characters are supposed to be so epic. They're supposed to be this and that, and I need them to be this way, and I need to know their names, and I need to know everything about them. So I was just putting that scene off forever. And it's interesting because I wrote it and it's fine the way that it is, but now that I've taken time and I've had, you know, months and months to really think about it, and what we discussed last time about like the in between council and whatnot, I
Yeah.
have such a clear vision of like what each character is, and that like it took me so long to figure it out. And I think like sometimes you just got to be okay with things taking a little longer. Does that make sense?
Yes. You
Yeah.
yeah, you kind of have to. And I've definitely pushed myself through scenes with characters that I didn't know well enough.
Yeah.
And then you just end up having to scrap those scenes.
Mhm.
And that sort of sucks. So it's like it's pick your poison, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
You
Like
just can't do it right.
it's like being stuck between a rock and a hard place. Like you just got to figure it out, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Because
Yeah.
yeah, you just gotta give it time, and then once you know your characters, then you can write the scene.
So, with your like current project, the one that you're working on, the Screaming Pit, do you have like an idea of what will happen when your character, when she falls into the pit or when she goes through this dimension?
I literally came up with it like 10 minutes ago. Like literally, not literally, but a couple hours ago, so I I don't. But I've been really intensely writing my book again.
Yeah.
So I have definitely gotten to know my character a lot better, like
Yeah.
Susie.
Yeah.
I At first she was kind of like a shell of a human, and
Yeah.
I didn't really know what to do with her, but I really wanted to write my book, so I just kind of was pushing it. But now, after an hiatus, I actually know who she is and what her character things are, and that kind of stuff. So right now she's so much easier to write, and my scenes just keep flowing out, like one that I sent you with Joan. I feel like that scene went so bloody well.
Oh, you mean, are you talking about how you're implementing more of like her autistic traits and that kind of thing?
Yeah, oh yeah, I made her autistic, but it's not explicitly said because it wasn't a thing back then. Like in writing and stuff, people didn't know what it was and stuff. So she just feels like she has anxiety and stuff, and that the world is difficult, but everyone finds the world difficult, but she's just having a harder time dealing with it, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. That scene that you wrote with her, I remember you like sending it to me and you were like, can you tell that she's, having an autistic moment? And I was like, yeah, like this is like to a T what happens when, as an autistic person, you're having a meltdown or you're having an anxiety attack that
Yeah.
isn't just stress. It's not just stress. Like people that have like anxiety and stress don't react the way that people with autism do. Like their reactions, our reactions are so much more intense. And I just loved the way that you described it. And I think I only said like something like, "Oh, you should add hyperventilating" or something like that.
Yeah, labored breathing, you
Yeah.
said.
Yeah.
And I did add that, and it's
Yeah, and it
made it so much better.
no, you're so good. I love the fact that for those people that do have autism, sorry, my dog is going crazy. And read your book, I think that they're going to see themselves in that, and they might not automatically know, oh, Susie is autistic, but they'll recognize signs, and it might be one of those things where like people will be like, oh, is Susie autistic, and then you as the writer could be like, yeah, like she is, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that she'll be relatable to autistic people, and I'm sort of implementing my own experiences in her, right?
Yeah,
Because, well, I don't know how neurotypical people think. I'm just hoping that it comes across right.
I think you're doing it exactly the way that you should. And I think sometimes like as writers we can worry about that kind of thing. As autistic people, we worry about it tenfold. um
Yes. Overthinking is the number one talent.
yeah. I think it's probably going to be fine. And that's why like having other people read your book is important, like when you have beta readers and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because they can tell you what they think. And I think that's something that you can ask in like a survey too. Like if you have someone that, doesn't identify as neurotypical, or yeah, or
Neurodivergent.
someone that does identify as neurotypical, you can ask them like, do my other characters feel natural? Like, do they feel like they're, neurotypicals to you?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
I don't know what the right like term is to use. Like I don't know. Sometimes I feel weird being like neurotypical typicals, you know?
Yeah, I feel weird talking about autism as well, and just like things. I get so impostery with all of it. But
It's
yeah,
so weird. I totally feel that.
Susie's a lot better now. And also Joan, I feel like their relationship is really great. And right now I'm trying to figure Ben out more. Yeah, I was really proud of that scene with Joan in spoiler redacted. And yeah,
People are listening to this like they get all the spoilers. That's the other thing. That's the
yes.
benefit
Oh,
of listening to a podcast about, someone's writing, is that
you
you get
get all
extra.
the, yeah,
Yeah.
the first seat row on the writing
Yeah.
experience.
You heard it here first, guys.
And also, I imagine it would be so fun to read this or to listen to this back in a year from now or something,
Yeah.
or when the book is out, and then
Yeah.
it's just to see how many differences we have made in our books.
Since then, yeah,
Yes.
exactly. And I think that's the beauty of it too, you know? I think, like, it's such a process. I just think, like, it's so crazy that we both have been working on these books for so long.
Yeah. I don't know how far I am with my book.
I think, like, it just goes to show that, like, every book has its own timeline,
Yeah.
and
Didn't Sophia say that she wrote Night Strider in like 4 years?
yeah, I think she did say that. But also I think that she had a lot more writing experience under
Experience.
her belt.
Yeah.
Um, I actually don't know how long I've been working on this book. Like, I think at least 2 years now. Actually putting it into
Into writing.
progress in writing, yeah. Like, I've had the idea for years and years and years and years and years.
Yeah.
But now working on it, even the ideas I had when I was like, I don't know, fucking 19, 18, they're all different.
Mhm.
They're evolved. I don't know, there's just something about taking your time and making sure that it can be the best that it can be is
Yeah.
like better to me than some writers are just really good and they can pop out a book in like I don't know, a month. Like,
Which is so wild, but
yeah,
yeah.
it is. Sasha Black, like, she's just pumping them out now too. Like, she's so fast, and there are other authors that are like that. And maybe eventually I can get there. But I really do like taking my time writing because I don't want like the pressure of, and also it's like this is my baby, right? Like,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to write to make money. I'm trying to write to make myself feel like I accomplished a goal that I've had since I was young.
Yes.
And I'm just
Mhm.
trying to make it as good as it can be in my eyes,
Yeah.
you know? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And you it's it's something you want to be proud of and
Mhm.
that you don't want to rush.
Yeah,
So I guess
exactly.
it's better to work on it a little longer than necessary than to work on it a little too
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah, when I did my Kickstarter, before things changed and Nia became Sam and, you know, all that stuff, I had this like timeline in my head of like, okay, January of this year, things would be done. It would be complete. And
Yeah.
now it's like April and nothing is done. Like, I only just started talking to an editor, and editors are expensive. Like, the Kickstarter that I did, I think people donated or they helped raise about $1,400. And that's an amazing amount of money.
Mhm.
And it'll cover like printing, it'll cover stickers and bookmarks, but it doesn't cover editing. It doesn't cover sensitivity readers. An editor costs, my book is about 60K words, and that can be up to like $3,000, $4,000
Holy
for an
shit.
editor, you know, a good
Yeah.
editor. And because I'm self-publishing, like, I have to go through these avenues. And then like a sensitivity reader is essentially the same thing, maybe a little less expensive, but like it's coming up with all of the money to make sure that the avenues are taken care of correctly, and making sure that like the people that helped the Kickstarter get a product that is perfect in my eyes. You know,
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
it's a lot of pressure. And for a
Under
while,
pressure.
do, 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 do. um,
Ding ding.
for a while, it like was bringing me down. It like was making me really depressed because I
Don't
just
bring
like
me
couldn't.
down. Down, down, down.
Oh my god. But yeah, now I just told myself like just take your time. Thankfully, I haven't gotten any messages like where the fuck is my book? Like, I don't know, where's my book? Like, it's not here yet. I don't even have it yet. Like, let's calm down. Everybody just chill out.
I get it. It's a big thing. I haven't figured out all of that yet. I'm just here writing, feeling like the world is sunshine and rainbows.
That's
I
what
haven't
like that's like what you should maintain with the whole writing process until it's done, until you're ready to like move on to the very scary
the
and like
publishing. Yeah.
yeah, it's all like it's all so much. especially when you're doing it by yourself. Like the benefit of going traditionally is that like you have other people taking care of all that shit for you, right?
Yeah.
But the problem with that is like you don't know how long it's going to take to be accepted by a publisher, whether or
Mhm.
not they're even going to accept you. That could be years. You can get a lot of rejections and people still might not like your book, you know? They might not. So for me it's like I'd rather just go through this avenue and not worry about all of that other stuff.
Shite.
Yeah, like I know it's going to be expensive. I know it's going to like I'm probably going to be putting way more money out of my own pocket for the first like 2 years before I actually start making any money on it off of this book, if any, you
Yeah,
know?
well, hopefully you will get back what you put into it, right?
That's like the minimum hope for me. It's like
Yeah.
maybe I'll make a little bit, but like honestly the biggest takeaway and the biggest like payoff will like be physically holding my book. Like I dream about that so often. Holding a physical copy of my book. Like that would be that would be amazing.
Yeah, I get that feeling. I feel like that would be so fucking cool.
Yeah.
I am thinking about printing my own book for myself, but then with all my short stories.
I love that.
So I have just this collection physically with me of all the stories that I wrote, and then I can also just print it. Like my sister really loves this one short story that I wrote, so I was thinking maybe printing it for her.
Oh, which one?
The moving chair.
Oh, I love that one. That one's really good. That one's also a ghost story. We love ghost stories. Let's just be
Yes.
real.
Yeah, I'm quite proud of it too. It's about this girl who thinks her apartment is haunted, basically. And then
Yeah,
yeah, it's
and there's a
basically
nice twist in it.
parallel. Yeah,
Yeah. It's a
yes.
parallel universe. I don't know, I love it. And I love that like there's multiple hauntings in it.
Yeah. No, yeah, I'm quite proud of that story too.
Yeah.
Can I sort of soft drop my title for my
Yeah.
book?
Yeah.
I finally have something and I'm fucking elated.
Yeah.
My book is going to be Canvas Companions, A Painted Path Through Time.
I can't tell you how perfect that title is. Like as soon as you sent it, I was like, that's it. That's the title. I love the fact that it's like canvas companion. So like those like go together.
Yeah,
The tagline really does describe exactly what the book is about. Like it's so
right?
perfect. Yeah.
Yes, it describes it so well, and I'm so happy about it. Sometimes I look at it and I'm like, it's just cringe, but it describes my book so well.
It's not cringy. Like it's not. Like I said, it's a cozy. Like it's one of those books that you want to sit down next to a fire with like a nice cup of tea or like a hot chocolate and you know, it's raining outside and you're cuddled up in like a soft blankie and you're just reading Canvas Companions. Like it's just one of those it's a cozy little read. I love it.
That's my dream, actually. I love for my book to be cozy. I love that so much because I really love cozy reads. So
Yeah.
and you know people say don't write what you read, but I feel like
No, what? People who says that?
I know,
Write
I
what
don't
you
know, I
read.
saw that somewhere.
Oh my god, I hate like all the weird fucking advice that you get from like random ass. Like I feel
There's
like
so much advice,
there's
and
so much
then you
advice.
get put in a pocket, and then you have so little things that you are actually allowed between quote marks to do. And
No.
yeah, so
No.
when I'm writing, I don't want to be on social media at all or look at any writers things because it just fucks with my mind so much.
I think I have the same problem. Like lately my biggest thing is like seeing other people complete their books and like seeing other people like have like all I don't know,
Yeah.
because it makes me feel like I'm not doing enough. And the thing is like we're doing exactly what we should be doing. And the idea that you shouldn't write what you read is so frustrating to me because like you read those things because they make you happy, right?
Mhm.
So why not write things that make you happy?
Yeah.
Like what? Like what?
Well, I feel like maybe maybe it comes from the thing where people just can't write in that genre, but then they try really hard to do it. Maybe it's for those kind of people that they just really try really hard, but can't.
You know what? Yeah,
I don't
no,
know.
I agree like fully with like with that description, because I do agree that some people, and I've listened to podcasts where, you know, writers have said like, oh, I tried to write in this genre because I love this genre, but it just wasn't working for me, so I tried this and that worked. So I think, like, you know, like autism is a spectrum, writing is a spectrum. We are all different, and not every piece of advice is going to stick with us, you know?
Yes,
And for
exactly.
me, like, I don't think I could not write in the genres that I like reading a lot of different genres. I'm not going to be the kind of writer, I think I've said this before, where I need to like have a different name for each genre that I write in. If my next series is like a murder mystery, it's still going to be my name. Like, I'm not going to change it just because it's a different thing than, like, you know, dark fantasy,
Oh,
paranormal.
yeah. You're talking about pseudonyms.
Yeah, exactly. Like, a lot of people do that because they're worried about their, like, reader base, and I get that.
Mm-hmm.
But again, like, I'm not trying to, like, yes, I do want this to be my career, and yes, I do want to be successful in it, but I'm not going to change myself completely to, I don't know, make other people happy or make it more convenient for them.
Yeah.
You know, hopefully people will enjoy me as a writer because I like to write what I love.
Yeah, and the cool thing would be that the readers will just read your shit because they like your writing style.
Yeah. If you don't like dark fantasy, romance, paranormal, whatever, you know, like maybe at some point in my life I'll come up with a different kind of book and you'll like that one. And if you don't, then you'll wait for the next dark fantasy, paranormal, whatever to come out. Like, you know,
Yeah.
there are a
Yeah.
million other writers. I don't know. I feel like like you say this all the time. Like you say, you know, it might not be your niche or there's a reader for every genre, right? That's what you
Yes.
always say.
Yeah.
And I think it's so true. And like I'm not
Yeah.
going to, I don't know, try
Yeah.
to
No,
win everybody over.
yeah, you will never be able to please everyone.
Yeah.
That's just the reality. And so you should just do what you want.
Yeah,
The end.
exactly. The end. And on that note, we are at 1 hour and 9 minutes.
Yes. Thank you guys for listening to our rambles.
Yeah, thank you guys.
We're always chaotic. I guess we can change that.
I think this was fun. Like,
Yes, I think so too, but we're chaotic. That's a fact.
yeah, sorry. I would blame it on the Red Bull, but I actually think like it kind of helps me stay on track, or try
Yeah.
to. And you're so tired. I can see it on you. You're like, I'm ready for bed, bitches. Like,
That's the curse of us living so far from each other because we have this small window.
thank you guys so much for listening. We hope that you enjoyed this episode, and we will talk to you guys again soon.
TTYL.
Bye.
Tara! Oh, and check out our social medias because we totally have those, and
Yeah.
it takes a lot of work when you're autistic. Anyway,
Yes.
bye!